Initially, it looks simple and small, but later it becomes very complex. If you postpone your practice, you can't handle this technology. That means if you think like after few days I will start practicing, you after few days so many topics will come, you cannot manage this technology. So you need to day by day practice what you are learning in class. Okay. So yesterday what we learned is we learned how to use React in existing web page. That's what we learned. That means you can say existing web application. So yesterday we saw this process. So we are not creating a React application. We are already having a web application that may be your traditional HTML, CSS, JavaScript. In that application, there are several pages and we are using React in one page. It is not even necessary to use React in all pages. So sometimes people say that, as I already told you in the introduction also, React is used for building single page application. But not just for building single page application, it provides a good library for creating UI, even for traditional multi-page application. Even you are creating a traditional multi-page application, a good user interface can be created by using React. Yesterday, what we discussed, how to set up, we learned. That means you have to install Node.js, you have to install VS Code, and how to create a project, how to set up file system for project. These all topics we learned, and how to enable React in page using CDN links we learned. We learned about CDN. CDN means you can link the library directly from their servers. So what is problem with CDN is every time if you want to practice the application, every time you need to connect with internet because the library comes from their servers. That is the problem with CDN. Today we will see another process. Without CDN, we can download the libraries, install them in project and use them. What is advantage of that? You can design, you can practice your application without connecting to internet. To download library, you need internet connection. Once you download it, now every day to practice, you don't need internet connection. Actually, CDN requires internet connection because it gets the library from their official website. So yesterday what we learned is how to link the CDN files and use them. And what are the library files required for React? 3 libraries are required now. What are those? One is React, another one is React DOM, another one Babel. So what is React library? React is the core library for enabling React. And what is React DOM library? It is virtual DOM library because React uses virtual DOM library. Creating virtual DOM, adding content to virtual DOM is done by using React DOM. Babel, compiler, good. So Babel is a compiler that compiles the code. So yesterday we created one project that is a web app, and in that project we set up the complete environment, and the file system we created is this. In this file system, you have public For static resources, SRC for dynamic, ignoring the Git repositories, what files you want to ignore. Package.json contains metadata, README is a help document. We learned how to add all these manually and using commands. We'll design that. Now today we will do one more work. So I am removing these libraries that I linked with CDN. So for that we need to copy, we need to go to their official website, copy them, come here, paste. Babel is in a different location, React is in different location. We have another process here. Let's see. I'm deleting this CDN libraries. Okay. If I deleted that CDN library, this will not work. This code is not going to work. So welcome to React is not going to work. You will see the home page. It is unable to use this. Now we have to enable React and Babel. This time not CDN. We want to install the libraries and use, so that every time you don't need any connection. So today you need to run one additional command here. So install React and Babel library for project. You have to install React and Babel library for project. How do you install? So first step, what you have to do, run the following commands in your project. Project terminal. So yesterday in the terminal you used npm init command. Now you can install these libraries. Npm I is shortcut for install. React, React DOM, @Babel /standalone. These libraries are required and save them permanently for your project. These are the commands you need to run. Actually, individually you can run, or collectively all together also you can define. Individually means npm install React, npm install React DOM, or you can just set them in one line. So what is the purpose of this? You don't need CDNs anymore. You don't need to visit their website and link the files. Directly files will be downloaded. And you know, because you learned already web designing, when you download any library, all library files are kept in which location? All library files are copied into node modules. You will have a folder called node modules. All library files are copied into node modules. You know that traditionally every project have a folder called node modules. Whatever libraries you install, all libraries are copied into node modules. They are copied into node modules. So let's run these commands and see. I removed already the files and I will run these here. npm install React DOM, another @Babel /standalone, and save. This is the command we have to run. Once you run this command, now you can see it is going to set up these libraries. Okay. And you will see here in the node modules, you will find the libraries ready. That means it added the folder node modules, and in that all the libraries are ready. You have React library, and you have another library. What is it? React DOM library, React DOM libraries, and one more is Babel. Babel library is also there. You can set up these libraries and you can run them. But unfortunately, one problem is in the latest React, because when you go to the package JSON, it is getting 19 related library. It is getting the 19 related library. 19 is very latest. 19 is very latest. So if you have this 19, in 19, they changed the development approach. They completely changed their library related approach. So what you do is here, you can, if you want to install a older version of library, then you run the same commands. So React at the net 18.2 and React DOM at the net 18.2. Like this, you can set up the version numbers. When you set the version numbers, it is going to install the library related to that version. So that means what happens now is when you run that in the package JSON, you will see now the version is 18. And now in the React, so React 18 version related libraries will come because 19 is completely different. 19 is completely different. It is recent version and they changed the design also. They changed the version related development approach. That's the reason. So if you install this, this will get the latest libraries. So you do one more here in this npm install react at the net, what it is 18.2 and react dom at the net 18.2 and others are same babel standalone and save. This is same. What this one will get this, it will download the latest as of now, up to now it is 19. So in 19, because they changed the approach, you will learn about this 19 later, approach later. So as of now, you prefer this one. First you install this one. We will see 19 also, but once I told you now, we are going to see old as well as new, both. Now this is the 18 version. Once you set up this version, we have to link the libraries. Observe carefully. In the node modules, you have React and React DOM. So in React, you can see they have given two folders. One is CJS, another one UMD. What are these? In JavaScript, when you learned JavaScript OOP concepts, JavaScript have a concept called modules. JavaScript classes, JavaScript modules is a concept. In JavaScript, a module is a collection of classes, functions, variables, and all. Values, classes, functions, everything kept in a module. And in JavaScript, at high level, we use module systems. Already I showed you. I told you modular approach, na? Right? So the module systems in JavaScript to run modules, as I told you, React uses module system. To run modules, there are so many module systems. Common JS is a module system. Require JS is a module system. UMD, Universal Module Distribution, AMD, Asynchronous Module Distribution, and ES Next. That is the latest module system. So there are so many module systems. And currently, we installed Node.js and we are using a package manager called NPM. NPM actually uses this UMD module system. That means you observe here in the React library, they have CJS module system UMD. In CJS module system also, you will find a library file. Observe in CJS module system, you can see React development, React production. Which file we need? Development we need. In UMD also, you will see React development, React production. Why you have same file in two places? Because some projects will use UMD system, some projects will use CJS system. Currently, our Node.js, what you installed yesterday, what I showed you, it uses an UMD system. If you link a wrong file, it will not work. So you have to link the library from UMD system. UMD system. So one more thing you have to know here is library files are copied into modules, node modules. So your React project, your web application, it is not React application. Your web application requires React libraries from UMD system, Universal Module Distribution, UMD system. It requires everything from UMD system, Universal Module Distribution, UMD system. So what you have to do is you have to link files from that UMD system. So link the library files into your HTML page. So link library files to your HTML page. What are the files we need to link? In the head section, we have an order. First file should be script. It is a source. It is in which location? Actually, our file is in public home. From public, we need to come out and use this node modules. So you know // where it is node modules. In that React. In that React, you see in node modules there is React. In that React, which system you have to use? UMD. So UMD. In UMD, you will find React development.js. That is the first file you have to link. You see in UMD, there is React development.js. You have to link that file. So you need to link that file, react.development. Yeah. React development file that you have to link. One more file you need. What is it? Script. Source is node modules. In node modules, what you have? React DOM. In React DOM also you will have an UMD. In that you have React DOM is the second one. In that also UMD. In that React DOM development.js. You need to link this file also. So React DOM.development.js. This file also required. Now one more file is required. What is it? Babel. Is there any order dependency issue? Yes. For JavaScript files, you will have order issues. You have to link in the same order, right? Another file, script source. It is coming from node modules. Node modules in that Babel. So you can see there is in node modules. In node modules, you have Babel. In that Babel, you will have Babel standalone in that babel.js. So we need to link that file. Standalone is the folder in that babel.js. Now React is ready for your project, means for your page. Yesterday, we are not downloading the files. Yesterday, we are linking the files from their official website. Now we are using the files from our local folder. What is difference is now you have a library offline, and when you practice your React, you don't need an internet connection every time. Yesterday's approach, every time you need to connect with internet in order to run React application. It will be little delay in output also. Why? Because library should come from our file. So that is from server. Now let's link them and see. Rest of your code is same. Rest of the code is same. Rest of the code is same. Here we need to link the files. What is it? Script source. First file is what? Node modules. React in that UMD in that React development.js. Another file, script source, node modules, React DOM in that UMD and React DOM development.js. One more file, script source, node modules, another one, @Babel standalone babel.js. And once you link them, then it has to compile your Babel code and run this and show. Let's run the page again here. It's taking time, so it will run from index. So in this home page, so when you run this, now React is working fine. So yesterday we are using CDN, and now today we are using an offline library. So this React is enabled from the offline libraries. This is the second thing you have to try. Now no need to visit the websites and copy the CDN. You can directly install every day. Just in which page you want React, you can link them and use them. And here, if you link a wrong library, it cannot use it. For example, as I said, this we are linking from which one? CJS. In CJS also, React development.js is there. In CJS also, we have React DOM development.js. Now, when you run this, you will not see the output because it cannot recognize the CJS module system. It says that React DOM is not defined. Why it is not defined? Because you are using a different module system and you are linking a different module system. So which module system library you have to link? UMD. UMD React development, and here also UMD and React DOM development.js. Now you can see it works fine. This is warning I already told you, warning related to old version it is. Initially, this is the process how you enable React in your project. I will copy this home code, home.html, and this is the home code. And in this code, what you have seen is React DOM dot render. What is this method? It is creating a virtual DOM and adding to your actual DOM. It is creating a virtual DOM and it is adding to your actual DOM. Actual DOM is div na, right? Into the div, it is adding this message. It is adding this message. So as of now, we are rendering a simple message, but React is actually a combination of components. It is component based. Every React application is built with components. Now our concept is what are components, how to design them, how we can design an application using components. So every React application is component based. So for example, here, see, I will give one website here. Yeah. Suppose you are watching Amazon.in. This Amazon user interface is completely designed with React.js. Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, all these are official Netflix, all these are official React apps. They are built with React.js. Amazon is completely built with React.js. The front end, whatever you see in Amazon is React.js. So this Amazon, when I open, you see Amazon is having lot of components here. If you already learned HTML, CSS and web design, you know some component names. For example, actually this component is header component. That is a header component. In the header component, this is search bar. This search bar is, can you tell its name? Which component it is? It is input group component. That is input group. Input group means it keeps all input elements combined like a group. Can you name this component? This component is carousel. You know carousels, na? Carousel. This is carousel component. Can you name these components? Good. These are cards. A React application, traditionally the modern web application is completely built with components. It is completely built with components. Earlier, your HTML applications pages are built with plain markup. That means heading, paragraphs, you'd use normal markup. But React applications, high level, they use all components. Inside components, you will have content. Now our job is to learn how to design an application using components. So what is a component? How the components work? How the components are designed? How they work? Let's see that point. So we will take one example of, suppose we will take Netflix. Netflix also designed using React. Now we will try to design this screen. We will try to design this screen using React. That means in this screen, they have so many components. Actually, you see they are having a header component. They are having a main component, register component. Why I am saying register is a component, because observe the same screen, this register same screen comes bottom here also. If they want the same screen again, suppose you designed a login screen, you want the same screen somewhere else, what you will do? In the same page, you want same screen again, what you will do? Will you copy and paste? That's not great. That is not good. Then without copy and paste, how you will make that markup reusable? We can make the markup reusable. And that is possible when you make the markup as a component. When you make the markup as a component, we can reuse it easily. So you design some screen, you want same screen in several places, you usually copy and paste. That is not good. So then what we have to do, we need to design like a component. Actually, we can create components using general JavaScript also. But in modern technologies, we don't prefer. Earlier, we used to do that. Now in modern technologies, we use the modern approach. Creating component using JavaScript is lengthy. For example, you have elements like button. Do you know you can create your own element? You can create your own element in HTML, JavaScript. Like button, you can have your own elements. That means you can create like my login, then automatically a login screen will come. This is possible in JavaScript. but nobody will teach you that in JavaScript because that is outdated, no longer very much used. Now we are doing all such things using React, Angular, Vue like technologies. JavaScript also can do. JavaScript allows you to create your own elements like button, like text box. You can create your own elements. Those generally we call them as what? Components. So in React, now today, we are going to learn how to create components and how to design a screen by using components. Let's see the concept here. So first important is this part understood everyone? Same yesterday concept we changed from CDN to what? Offline libraries. And what is React DOM? Just a question I will give here. What is React DOM and React DOM? So it is a property. So it is a property that creates virtual DOM, and render is a method that renders virtual DOM into actual DOM. That is the first thing. It is a property that creates virtual DOM, and render is a method that renders virtual DOM into actual DOM. So here syntactically we write like this: React DOM dot render. Actually, here you have to use your component. Now, as of now, I use just a message, but actually here a component comes, and you have to use the DOM target element. You have to use the DOM target element. And in the above code already I written it. Our DOM target element is a div. Inside the div, we are rendering this virtual DOM. That is the basic method. Now we are going to learn about very major concept, that is React components. This is the major topic of React.js. Entire React is depending on this concept. 60-70% of your entire React will be working with these components. So technically, what is a component and how this component is going to work? What is the concept of component? As I told you, this is not a new concept. Already we have this. You two people, you have any problem there? Yes, you two people. Because see, in my sessions, we don't entertain nonsense. We kick out of people. We don't care. We don't want any nonsense in my class. Huh? If you know about me, you inquire anywhere, we kick out and you will never attend my session again if you disturb the class. Understood you both? Be careful. Huh? From tomorrow, you will never be in my class again. Right? Be careful. Yeah. So here we have React components. Let's see how these components work. How the components work. Technically, as I told you, component means, suppose you saw this Amazon or Netflix. You see there is here FAQs. When I click, one question will expand. When I click another, then the first question will collapse, second will expand. Do you know this is called as accordion. We call this as accordion. To design like this, it will take lot of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, but already they have designed. and they given to us. Just you have to put that and modify according to your requirements. Component based allows you to design fast. Rapidly you can build good user interface because you don't need to write everything. Already design is present, logic also present, styles also present. You just modify according to your requirement. For example, see, you have third party like Get Bootstrap. This is Get Bootstrap. This is Get Bootstrap. Observe, in Get Bootstrap, I will go to documents. In the documents, there is a components. You see components. In that, there is a component called accordion. I open that accordion. They already have the logic for that. You see accordion design they have given. Am I right? And the logic they have given. Styles they have given. Functionality, design, everything they given. Just we have to copy and use it. Modify according to our requirements. So technically, what is a component? A component comprises of design, styles, and logic. It is a combination of three basic things, and websites are built with components, right? So we are going to learn how to design such components by ourselves. We can use ready-made components. We can build our own components. So technically, what is a component? Component is a template with predefined design, styles, and functionality. So design is created using what? HTML. Styles are configured using CSS. And logic means you can say functionality. Functionality is defined by using, we can use JavaScript or we can use TypeScript. Here in React, we can use both. But one more important thing you should know is React is not using directly JavaScript. It is using a JavaScript extension. We generally call as JSX. React uses JavaScript extension known as JSX. It uses an extension called JSX. It is not using direct JavaScript. It is using JavaScript extension. So JSX is used here, and it is same. TypeScript also it uses TSX. But initially we will learn React by using what? JavaScript. So we will learn how to deal with that with JavaScript. We will see that. So React uses JavaScript extension for logic. JavaScript extension for logic. Now see how to create components. That means component comprises of three basic things: the design, the styles, and the logic. How to create a component by yourself? How we can design a component? So here React component can be created by using two techniques. One is by using classes, JavaScript class, or by using JavaScript function. You can create components in two ways: using classes, using functions. In JavaScript, you already learned class functions concept. You can use a class or function. Class is outdated. They don't recommend classes anymore because classes take more memory. They are related to OOP. They are heavy on application. They are complex. That's the reason modern React always recommends using functions. They say that class is okay, good, but OOP is always slow. OOP is always heavy on applications. So OOP languages we don't prefer in lightweight environment because OOP languages have a lot of drawbacks. OOP language cannot directly interact with hardware. OOP language doesn't support low level features. OOP language requires more memory and they are heavy on applications. So that's the reason we don't prefer them very much. You can see this is the official website of React.js. I will show you. React pure component. Yeah. You can see this is the official React.js. This is official React.js website and see what they are saying. This is react.dev. This is the official website of React and see what they are saying. We recommend defining components as what? Functions instead of what? Classes. This is official. Officially React people say that class components are still supported by React. We will support that, but we don't recommend them. So that is the reason when you go to the companies in old version projects, they use a lot of classes. Even several senior people who attend these batches remotely, they are attending or physically they are coming. They ask like, sir, in my company, they are using all classes. Will you teach classes also? We will learn. We will learn both classes as well as functions. But the modern React always prefers functions. So better always go with functions. We will learn both classes also because as a developer, you should able to survive in different environments of projects and all environments are not latest. They use old versions. So you need to know both techniques. So we are going to learn how to design components by using classes and functions. So now today we are going to create a component using JavaScript function by using JavaScript function. So let's see how to create a component using JavaScript function. For that, first you should be perfect in your JavaScript function concepts. You already learned JavaScript. You learned about functions. Huh? You are perfect with functions. If not, some topics, if you are not aware, I will show here. But actually, what are the function concepts? I will give a list here. JavaScript function topics. I will give a list here. In JavaScript, when you learn JavaScript, you have to make sure that you know all these in functions. What are those function topics? Let's see. Because modern technologies use these concepts, you should know. You learned about JavaScript functions. What topics you learned in functions? I will give some topic names. Actually, function declaration, function expression. So function definition, function parameters, REST parameters, spread operators, spread operator, and we have function closure. So function return. So function have currying higher order functions. So function recursion. So function signature. So function we have generator, function callback, function promise, async functions. So these are important function related topics. Anonymous functions, IIFE pattern, and you have arrow functions. These are all the functions related topics you should know in JavaScript. These are function concepts. Even you attend React interviews, several questions will be on these topics. That is the reason people fail React interviews, because they are not perfect in JavaScript. Because in React interviews, 70% questions will be JavaScript. Because React is a JavaScript library. And if you are aware of, in React, if they ask questions, everybody can answer. Because React is a library. In a library, what should we ask? Everybody can answer. That's the reason their main questions will be related to JavaScript concepts. And these are all JavaScript related function topics. I hope you people, when you learn JavaScript, you know all these in functions concepts, because these are general JavaScript function related concepts. So if you go through today, when you have time at home, you go and search for React interview questions answers, FAQs, interview questions and answers, and you will find out of these, you will find at least topics in interview questions of React. MNCs everywhere, because majority of React interviews will be related to these. And these are very general concepts of JavaScript. In JavaScript, when people learn JavaScript, they know all these in concepts of JavaScript. These are all functions related topics. You have to make sure that you know all these. In React, we don't learn all this. In React, we use them. In React, we use all these concepts. We don't learn these concepts, right? So in JavaScript only, you have to learn all these concepts. So do you know, when you work with all this, you know some options like, do you know what are higher order functions? Higher order function means a function takes a function as parameter. A function takes a function as parameter, then it is an higher order function. A function returns a function, then it is called function currying. We call that as function currying. If a function is called inside the same function, then it is called recursion, function recursion, right? So a function have iterator, that is called generator. Function iterators are called generators. A function outer function members can be accessed in inner, but inner members are not accessible in outer. That is called closure. We call that mechanism as closure. A function blocks all the functionalities and executes the function. That is called function callback. A function will execute along with other functions. That is called promise, asynchronous functions. These are all usually used in functions. These are all general JavaScript function related topics. So here I'm not explaining these topics. You know, REST parameters, spread approach, all these. I'm not explaining, I'm just giving a list. If you are not aware, just go through them in documents. I will upload one JavaScript function document, so you go through it. Generally in our general JavaScript classes, we teach all these. And if anybody is not aware, I will upload that notes related document. You check that, right? If you are not aware of any concepts. So this is the concept of functions you should know. Now, once we know this, let's create a component function. How you create a component? What are the rules? So let's see function component rules. Function component related rules. What are the function component rules? First important is a component function cannot be void. It cannot be void type. A component function cannot be void. So it must return something. It must have a return. It cannot be void means what? That means a component function must return. Must return JSX element. It must return JSX element, not a number, not a string, not a boolean. It must return a JSX element. How to return a JSX element, I will tell you. Every component function must return a JSX element. It must return a JSX element. That is the first important. Another point is component function name must start with uppercase letter, mandatory. It must start with uppercase letter, compulsory. It must start with uppercase letter. So generally in JavaScript, function name you can write any way you want. But here the function must start with an uppercase letter. It is mandatory, right? And it must return a JSX element. And one more important point is, so component JSX must return only one fragment. It should return only one fragment. That is very important. Component JSX must return only one fragment. One fragment means actually, suppose we are having a div in that hello, and we have another div welcome, like this we are having. If a component is returning these two, it is invalid. Why? Because these are two fragments. A component should return only one fragment. Only one fragment. It cannot return two fragments. So you must make sure that these two are present inside a parent div again or something else. Am I right? Now this is okay. You can use a div or a header or a nav or a footer or any container, but function components can return only one. They cannot return multiple. They cannot return multiple. That is very important. It must return only one fragment. Another important is every element in component must have an end token. Compulsory. Must have an end token. That means suppose you are writing IMG. You learnt IMG is an void element. It doesn't require end tag. Am I right? IMG doesn't require an end tag, na? But here it must have an end tag. Compulsory. Every element must end. Every element must end. You can write like this or you can write self-ending like this. That indicates that self-end. Either end tag or self-end. So if you write input type is text, that is invalid. Earlier you used to write like this, but now it should have an input end. Or you can write like this. What you have, input type is equal to what? Text slash like this. Every element must end. In HTML, whatever elements you used without ending, so they must end. Every element must end. Compulsory. They must have an end token. So component function cannot be void. Component function must return what? JSX. And component function must start with an uppercase. And it must return only one fragment. It must return one fragment. And every element must have an end token. Let's follow these rules and design. Let's follow these rules. Let's go to our project. In this home page, in the script area here, we are writing a function. You already learnt how to write functions in JavaScript. Functions are written in two ways. Declaration, expression. There are two ways. Function declaration, function expression. What is function declaration? Function declaration is using function keyword. The function name is something like login and close. This is function declaration. What is function expression? You can write constant login is equal to what? Function. This is function expression. And in JavaScript, you learned what is difference between declaration and expression. right? What is function declaration, where we use it? What is function expression and where we use it? What is difference between declaration and expression? You already know in JavaScript, right? So you can write a function in two ways, as an expression or as an declaration. So we will use the traditional one. So we write a function and the function name is login. Uppercase letter is compulsory for function name, and this function we created is not a component yet. Why? It is not a component because it is still not following the rules. What is the first rule? Uppercase letter, okay. It cannot be void. Currently it is void, na? It cannot be void. It must return. It should return a JSX element. And actually JSX element returns, it is returned through a function. A function returns a function. This process is called function currying. In JavaScript, this is called function currying. Function currying is the process of a function returning a function. And this function, this is anonymous. Anonymous, it doesn't have a name because you can write like this also, na? Am I right? You can write like this also. A function can return a function. So, or you can simply put a parenthesis. Now, in this parenthesis, we are adding a simple div and close the div. We are closing the div because remember it should return only one container, na? Right? Okay. After that, I keep here heading some user login and close the heading. After that, I am creating some data list. You know, in HTML data list, data term, username, and username, and below this I will keep a data definition. Input type is equal to text, and see, it input type text is invalid because it needs a closing. I will use self ending. Now it is fine. Another data term password and data term close, data definition, input type is password. Just rough design I am creating, and close the data definition. And below this we keep a button. So, and the button text will be login. We created a simple login component. Now this is an official component because now you can see this login is returning some JSX. It is returning some any, because default you are using in a page, it cannot compile until it loads in browser. So once it is compiled, this login is considered as what kind of element? JSX element. So login component is ready. So let's go here. Now render not welcome to React. Now we have to render the login component, and component is used like a tag, like a token. That means what is your tag name? What is your tag name? Login. And it needs a end token also, or you use self ending. Now you can see that the home page is going to display the output like this. That means you are rendering a component. And what is the specialty here? What is the advantage of component? Components allows reusability. For example, I want here, instead of login, I will keep here. You know, you can have a main area. This is main semantic. You know, na? HTML semantics already you learned. In the main semantic, it is empty actually. It is empty. In main semantic, I am using login. Okay. And you can see that the login screen comes. I am using login again, then second time again. You are not copying and pasting. You are just reusing the components. Anywhere any design is required, you will not redesign. You will just copy. And whenever the function is modified, automatically it will affect everywhere. That means you change the design here, automatically it affects everywhere. Already you know, for example, I am writing some style. You learned styles now. right? Later in here, how to write styles, we will learn. So we can put the styles, we can add the effects, and you can implement. For example, you can write style above also. What we are writing style, we will do one thing. This entire, instead of div, we better put in a form, form elements, right? We better keep in a form is one container. And what I will do in the style, wherever form is present, I'm giving border 1 pixel solid gray and padding as 20 pixel, and border radius I'm giving as 10 pixel, and you can see box shadow I'm adding 2 pixel, yeah, 2 pixel and 2 pixel and black. And you can see the login will appear like this. Width also I will add as 200 pixel, then it will set like this. And I am using some margin, all directions 20 pixels, then it will be like this. So that means we are creating a component and we can use it anywhere we want. As of now, I designed in a HTML page, but we can maintain in a separate file so that in any page you can use. In several pages, I want a login screen. Every page you don't need to design. You just need to implement the component. You have to use it. That you will see. But this is the basic process of designing a component. What are the basic rules here? Component function cannot be void. It must return a JSX element and it must start with uppercase letter and it must return only one fragment. And in that fragment, all elements must be self-ending elements. Self-ending elements, that means they must end. They must end. You can use self-ending or you can use an end token for that. So syntactically, we write like this: function and component. So it should return and it should return some fragment. So I will just give here fragment and close. This is how we write a function component. That fragment can be any of your HTML semantic or non-semantic. HTML semantics, non-semantic elements you learned, it can be any of those semantic, non-semantic. And how to access the component? Component is accessed and used as a token. It is used as a token. So how do you access component? Like this, we need to access. We need to access in this way. Component is accessed and used as a token. Token is like a tag. So we are creating a component, and as I told you, a page can contain several components. It's not just only one component. A page can contain several components. That means usually React applications are built with multiple components. So let's see how we can use multiple components. How we can use multiple components. Let's see one concept here. See, what I'm doing here is I have a login and I will create another component. Another component as nav. Nav bar is a component. And another technique I will use here. Let's use a expression technique. That means constant. What is it? Nav bar. Nav bar is a function and that function returns some functionality. That function returns markup. This is modern way of writing JavaScript. You know that this is called as arrow technique. The modern way of writing the functions in JavaScript, right? And here I keep one fragment. I will keep a nav fragment. Okay, this is nav. Now what should happen here? This nav should contain the complete navigation. For example, I give a div. So in this division, I am giving like suppose Netflix, just rough design I am creating. And here I have another div. And in this div, I'm using a drop down. Just I will put a select. Let's create this. Okay, like this. We have a select, and this select will use an option. It will use an option like language. I will use option. We will add effects and all later. So English like this we are giving. Okay. After that, we have a button, and the button is like sign in. That is the button we are having. Okay, this is a nav bar. And for nav bar, we are adding some styles. Wherever nav is there, display as what? Flex, justify, content, space, between. I'm just adding this. And let's see now. Nav bar is having a border, 1 pixel solid gray color border, padding as 20 pixel. Okay. And observe carefully, I want this nav bar in my component. That means actually here only login is there. Above, I want a nav bar. Above, I want a nav bar. So here in the page, we will remove home. That means directly login is coming. And here in the main, above the login, I want a nav bar. So here we can put what? Nav bar. We can put a nav bar. Below the nav bar, which one? Login. We have multiple components, and you can see that. You have a nav bar and components. As of now, I am not using any styling. We will put styles later and achieve as it is. But as of now, we are not using any styling. We are just using multiple components. We are using multiple components. Every application is built like this. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube, your Amazon, Netflix, these are all React apps. These are all built using official React JS. Because React is Meta. React belongs to which company? Meta, Facebook. React belongs to Facebook. Angular belongs to Google. Right? React is an official library of Meta. It's an official library. They use all Facebook apps are built with React. They are built with React. So technically, this is just a design I'm giving. Now, suppose you want a footer. So this is another, okay, let's create another one. We have a function. What is it? Footer. Footer is a function. And what the footer function have to do? It should return some footer semantic. You know, HTML have a footer semantic. So we have a footer semantic. In the footer, I'm just adding like ampersand copy. So semicolon 2025. So all rights reserved. So for Netflix. So that is we are giving some option. And the footer, I'm adding some styling here. So wherever footer is there, background color is black, some color is what? White, and the text align is center, and padding is 20 pixel. And I want the footer below this. That means after the login here, after the login, so here I will use, actually it should not be main, it should be with section. I will give like what? Section, or some one fragment only you need to have a section. And here after login, I'm using what? Footer. That means you can see the now login and footer are there. Login and footer are there. You can design everything using these components. I am not applying styles, height, width, and others you can control later. That means if you make any modification in the component, then automatically it will affect everywhere. The component changes everywhere. In 10 different pages, you are using the same component and you modify at one place, it will reflect everywhere. This is component based design. The component based design. So React applications are component based. Angular applications also component based. The modern technologies all are component based. And to create components, we are using what? Functions. We are using functions. By using function, we created a component. And here, remember, a component can use another component inside. A component can use another component inside. That means components can be nested also. Nested components. For example, here I want to put a search bar. And that search bar should be separately used in different places. Then what we will do is, we will not design search bar in nav. We will create a separate search bar and we can use in nav. Okay, let's create a separate search bar. So constant, so search bar and is a function. What this function have to do? It should return a div. Okay, and temporarily I'm using like input type is equal to text. Input type is text, and you know it needs a what? Placeholder. Suppose search Netflix dot in, something like this we given, and we have a button. Button is like search. Later you can add icons and all. I will show you bootstrap icons how you can do. And for this, suppose we will give, this is a div, and it is having two options, and that search bar I want in between here. So in the nav bar, after that I will keep another division. That means nav bar is having now three divisions. This is first, this is second, and this is third. In the second, here I want a search bar. I can put search bar here. Search bar is used in nav bar. If search bar is used in nav bar, search bar comes there. That means a component can have a component inside. This is how the modern websites are built. That means all these days you may learn HTML, CSS and all. That is all multi-page application style, and the modern generation is single page application style. That means in the modern generation, everything is built like this. Every application is built like this. This is nested. What is advantage? I can use search bar anywhere I want. I want search bar separately below this login. Inside login, anywhere you can put that. That means you have to just access there and implement it. This is the concept of component based hierarchy, right? In this example, what we have done, we installed the libraries offline. We are accessing them and designing our own components. So I will copy this example for you. And this is the example of home dot what? HTML. This you have to try, right? Once you can try this, now we can design this screen, original Netflix like screen. But to design like this, you need lot of styling. That means you need CSS, styling, placements, everything we need to do. Now we will try to create this. We will try to create this screen with the knowledge of what we learned up to now. And additionally, how to set up Bootstrap, these icons, these symbols, these colors, these effects, how we get them. That we will see. That we'll see in our next session. Tomorrow we will do that, right? Today this is enough, because initially I will not give you a high dose. Okay, because in later stages after 3-4 days you will ask, sir, enough for today. Okay, so slowly we will start, and we will, because this is not so easy as you have seen. You have to practice this. Once you practice this, then in tomorrow session our target is designing this Netflix. We will create this Netflix screen by using the concept of what? Components. Okay, right. Thank you. Online people, please wait 1 minute. So our admin will give an announcement.
Yeah, online students. Guys, who taken the only React.js batch, you can attend this batch, don't worry. And we close the demo session on Saturday. So if you're interested this batch, you can pay the fees on Monday before the session. Already I posted the fee details in WhatsApp community and you can check it, guys. Guys, sometimes I don't pick up your call. You don't worry, you can send a WhatsApp message. I will reply to you because I'm busy with offline classes also. So you have any query and you can message WhatsApp. Already you have my number. And one more thing, some students are sharing the payment screenshots for offline receipts in July month and June month. And we can allow this batch students, September month students or August month. So you have already take the in permission. Can you share me the in permission letter and any admin chat WhatsApp? You can share me in WhatsApp. And again, I'm repeating this batch we allowed on UI full stack students on August month or September month. Some students are share the July and June month payment screenshots. Already you taken in permission for admin side UI batch whenever you attend the UI batch, and you can take the permission already and you can share the screenshot to me, my WhatsApp number. I give you the permission this batch. And again I am repeating, who take the only React.js. Only React.js, you can attend this batch, don't worry. We close the demo session on Saturday. Monday before the class, you can do the payment. Already I shared the payment details in WhatsApp community and you can check it, guys. You have any doubt, you can send a WhatsApp message, my number. Already everyone have my number in WhatsApp. Sometimes I didn't pick up your call because I'm busy with offline classes. You don't worry. Any doubt, you can send a WhatsApp message. I will reply to you guys. You don't worry. Okay, guys. Thank you. And same link, you can join the tomorrow session. And one more thing, guys, some students are asking, sir will not take the doubt session. You don't worry. This is the demo session. You don't worry, guys. Sir will take the doubt session one session. This is the demo classes only. Sir, and Saturday or next class, sir will take the doubt session. You don't worry. Thank you, guys.